Have you guys been watching this Simpsons marathon?
No.
Absolutely
No.
not.
I'm so over The Simpsons.
Yeah, I was over that when I was like 16.
Guys, this is...
I know it is.
I think it crossed, I think it was Saturday night at some point. It crossed, set a record for longest marathon, TV marathon ever.
Do they play the intro and outro for the...
Oh, yeah. It's everything. And it's the whole...
There's commercials, obviously, right?
Yeah, and it's obviously just a couple of sponsors, so there's not as many commercials, but you're seeing a lot of the same.
Well, it's not it's their own, it's Fox, right? So it's not like they're really,
I don't know. I find Simpsons entertaining, and just the fact that, 250 episodes, there's not a whole lot of shows that make it past the 20 season mark.
250 episodes, that's it?
That's it? That's more than that.
Yeah.
No, or is it?
Yeah.
Am I way off? Is 5 something?
More like 5 or 6 or 7.
I'm doing a Google search now.
Yeah.
552 episodes.
552. Yeah, there was a 2 in there, but it was definitely towards the
You just had it backwards.
Oh my goodness.
You read it backwards. 255. 500.
Well, yeah, so anyways, incredible, just in terms of milestones, right?
Yeah, half of those episodes are horrible.
I don't know. It's not horrible. It's just, I don't know. I feel like I've seen so many episodes of The Simpsons that I'm overdosed. Same with South Park. I used to be a big fan, and then I just have a hard time watching it now. Or maybe I'm just getting old. Maybe that's just it. Seriously, that's probably it.
I think it's a combination of both.
You guys had a good weekend?
No.
I've
been sick all weekend. And
what is it, your allergies again?
No, I had flu or something.
How do you get the flu during summertime?
I know. There's so many of my friends are sick, and yeah. So I've been in bed all weekend, just working in bed.
That's terrible.
Pretty much terrible. I have back problems now because I'm trying to sit up and type, and we have one of those Tempur-Pedic mattresses, so it's just not comfortable for.
Yeah, I guess the Tempur-Pedic mattress is not made to work on it.
No, not at all.
What were they thinking?
Not one of their bullet points. So yeah, it's been a rough weekend for me, but.
Well, I had an awesome weekend. I went to see my favorite band of when I was a kid, The Offspring, and that was awesome.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know they were still playing music.
Yeah, they are 40. The singer, I think, is 48 or 49 years old. They were old. There was also Pennywise and Bad Religion opening, and they are all old people. They're all 48 or 49. They're all born the same year. The singer 50, 65 or something. So they're all 49, 50, and but that was so freaking awesome. The Offspring was the first Smash by The Offspring was the first CD I ever bought. Actually, Smash was the first album that made me listen to good music. Before Smash, before The Offspring, I was just listening to whatever was on TV, and that was not good. That was usually dance music, Tune Limited. Do you guys remember Tune Limited?
No.
This is the rhythm of the night, all night.
It helps that you sing it, though.
This is the rhythm of the night. Bum, diggity, bum, diggity, bum. It's a rainy day. You guys don't remember that? I guess that was that was a Euro thing, though. That might have been just a Euro thing.
I think I
remember the
it,
song. Yeah. I didn't know who the band was, but I definitely know. I recognized the song.
Yeah, good for you that you didn't know who the band was. Well, before The Offspring, that's kind of what I listened to, and I didn't like it, but everybody was listening to it. I was like, I kind of have to listen to it. Everybody's listening to it. And then I always remember one day I go to my friend's house, and he's got money, and he's got cable television, and he has MTV on cable. And then he shows me a video clip. He says, "This is no. He says, "Hey, look at that. This band is called The Offspring, and it's the clip where they throw eggs on the camera and stuff." He said, "This is The Offspring. My bigger brother just bought the CD, and it's awesome." And I remember watching this and being like, "Oh my God, this is a revelation. This is what I'm made to listen to. And I remember getting on my moped and going to get some money. And I went to the store and bought my first CD ever, which was the Offspring Smash. And so this year is the 20th anniversary of Smash. And to celebrate the event, the band played the whole album, completely from start to finish. That was just awesome. I was just rocking it like I was 15-year-old again.
Like you had long hair again?
Yeah, like I had long hair and dirty jeans and
I'm not super familiar with their like their music library. Is Smash, is that the one that Pretty Fly for a White Guy was on?
No. This, I think Pretty Fly was Americana or something. After Smash, I kind of gave up on them because it was much more like poppy and commercial.
They went mainstream.
Yeah, and it's fine going mainstream. I guess Smash made them mainstream, but it just like the music lacked the sincerity and honesty and the punk rock attitude that it had before, even prior to Smash. But Smash was the one with self-esteem and self-esteem, like la 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 la. You guys don't know this?
Not by that little sample.
Come out and play. You guys don't know this?
Yeah.
Oh, but you guys are young though. You're much younger than I am, so it's not so much your
I'm like 1 year younger than you. Not even that, probably. Yeah. What are you, 35?
I'm gonna be 34.
Oh, see, I'm already 33. So I don't know. I was into hip hop and stuff.
That's right. You're a gangster.
Same.
Yeah, so I did listen to I listened to Nirvana, obviously, like who didn't, but yeah, I just wasn't really into it like that. I was more into hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
See, that was me too. I was into hip hop and I listened to the little bit of rock I did. I was really into Bush for some reason.
Yeah, they have a couple of good songs.
Beck was popular when I was as I was getting old, or as when I was. I can't think now. But anyways, yeah, Beck was popular at some point in my childhood.
Mm-hmm.
So Jeff, you're still wearing your bulletproof vest from your days as a hip-hop gangster?
No, I gave that up quite a long time ago. Yeah. Let's proceed, shall we?
Shall we proceed?
We shall.
Oh, my God. Guys, have you seen these? I mean, okay, I'm not going to ask if you've seen the pictures. Did you hear about this ridiculous celebrity nude photo leak?
Yeah, some of my picture leaked, actually.
Oh, wow.
That's terrible.
I didn't even know what to say to that. Oh, wow.
Well, basically what happened here is there was a brute force attack on certain celebrities' iCloud accounts, and the Find My iPhone basically did not require. Basically, it allowed you to continue trying different password combinations, and just basically, eventually, like you get the right combination and you're able to log in. Find My iPhone did not apparently, according to reports, have a lock on it. So, most passwords or most services will lock you out of the account after you enter the wrong password, 3, 4, 5 times. This did not have that. And actually, it's funny that this happened because I remember maybe a year or so ago logging in to Find My iPhone or trying to log in, and I just kept entering the wrong password. For some reason, I had the wrong password. I don't know why, but I did. And it perplexed me that it didn't lock me out, or it didn't require me to have like a grace period of 24 hours or something like that after I kept entering the wrong password. It just never dawned on me that this could possibly be a vulnerability in their security. But as it turns out, apparently it was.
Has this been like for sure proven, like it's been confirmed that this is how the photos were taken? Because I've tried reading a lot about this morning to try to get more clarity, because obviously we did a post on this last night, and I'm hearing a million different things from, there's supposedly videos leaked as well that I don't think can be saved through iCloud yet. and or at least through PhotoStream, and they're
There's pictures from Android devices.
Exactly.
Looking at the
yes.
EXIF data, you can tell us some pictures are from Android devices. So it's kind of strange. I mean, strange might not be the right word, but it makes you wonder what really happened here. Maybe it's different leaks that were put together into one big leak and putting it on iCloud. I mean, calling it on being from iCloud. I don't know. It seems a little strange. But what's interesting though is that apparently Apple patched this vulnerability that Jeff mentioned, where you could enter the wrong password 150 times and still be able to try again and again and again and again to re-enter the password. So Apple fixed this during the night today, early this morning. So that means there is something going on here. Now, are all these leaked celebrity pictures from the same hack, or are they from several different hacks? That's a possibility too. But it does look like Find My iPhone was somehow, somewhere at fault here too.
Right, and just keep in mind. Sorry, Cody, go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to throw in there that, I mean, because this was being called an iCloud hack yesterday, I think it would have, just a normal reaction for Apple would have been like, okay, let's go in and see if there are any vulnerabilities. Maybe that's one they discovered and patched up. I mean, the fact that it happened last night does not necessarily mean that this was what was used in the attack. It means that they were investigating the attack and might have found this hole.
Right, that's true. Yeah.
That's true, yeah.
But also keep in mind that you mentioned videos. I thought that videos were somehow stored in not Find My iPhone, but iCloud photos. Like, I thought, maybe I'm wrong, but I do know for a fact that videos are stored on absolute backup. So like if you have a backup to iCloud, aren't your videos stored there on an iCloud backup?
Yes, but not in PhotoStream.
Right, not in.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of something else, but maybe I'm thinking of Flickr. Yeah, I'm probably thinking of Flickr. But I do know that your videos are saved when you have a backup, like if you're using an iCloud backup.
Right.
So that is one possible way that you could gain access to someone's photos. You could just log in with their username and password and restore from iCloud, and that's obviously going to have all your videos or whatever.
What about deleted photos? Because I know that was brought up by some of the celebrities supposedly involved in the leak. They said, man, some of these pictures are from years and years ago, so I can only imagine what the attacker went through to get these. What happens to deleted photos, I guess, is my question. Because even if you aren't trying to delete things, isn't iCloud only a 30-day, 1,000 photo or whatever the limit is, rolling?
But also, you shouldn't also trust what these celebrities say.
Right.
Like some of them say, this is not me, this has been photoshopped. I mean, possibly. But I don't know.
Well, bottom line is that, this is like, it's pretty messed up that this happened. Like, if people would.
Oh, you got to feel bad for, because we're talking about Jennifer Lawrence. She's an Academy Award winning actress, like the highest of the highest Hollywood food chain. And
you got to feel bad for them. And it's, it's just a complete invasion of privacy at the end of the day. And the person had no regard for these people, like the impact this would have on their lives. So, it's just messed up. Just think like if it was you or one of your family members, how would you feel?
Significant other, your daughter, And I've been looking at it, so I've been kind of like, admittedly, I've been kind of defending Apple because they haven't said, nothing's been confirmed that it's been iCloud, but you have to think if it was them and it was an iCloud vulnerability, these folks are, reportedly about to announce a mobile payment system, and you can't even protect photos. That's going to be a huge blow to trust. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what they confirm. I'm expecting them to make an announcement either way, right? Because they've made announcements before. I think it was on the Australia purported iCloud hacks. They commented to at least the tech site and said, hey, this was not through iCloud. So I'm expecting them to at least comment on the matter Maybe not today because it's a holiday, but at some point, and it'll be interesting to see what the fallout is from that.
Right. And at the, at the very best, I mean, this is going to have some impact on them, regardless of whether iCloud was actually a part of this vulnerability, regardless if these photos and things were stolen from iCloud itself. It is going to have at least some effect on Apple, or at least the perception of their security. And you can just, look at people's comments and say, hey, I've seen so many people say, oh, well, Apple is terrible at security, or it just automatically has a negative effect on their brand. And especially so when it's so close, like you mentioned, Cody, to their big unveiling, and the fact that it involves reportedly a new payment solution, which obviously you want to have the utmost security, for something like that. So it's just the worst timing possible. I don't think in the long term it's going to have a real tangible effect on Apple, but I do think in the short term it's going to hit them, hit the perception of them.
You have to wonder though what the general public is thinking, and it's so hard for me to get a feel for this because we're in the tech community.
Mm-hmm.
And so people I follow on Twitter, people I talk to throughout the day, they're very tech savvy. And obviously this security and cloud and, privacy this is all big topics to them. But for the general public, I think all they're hearing, or I wonder if all they're hearing is, celebrities' phones got hacked and nude photos were stolen. So mom turns to daughter and says, this is why you don't take nude photos of yourself. And maybe iCloud never even gets brought up in that conversation, or the normal conversation between people outside the tech community.
Yeah. One thing though is like, and I won't dwell on this too long, but sites like CNN are terrible because this is the first, that's the way I actually heard about this. Like they are complicit in this to a degree, in my opinion, because, why even report on something like why even spread it to the mainstream?
Well,
because
you knew TMZ was going to get to it eventually.
Right, but I mean, CNN, is that really appropriate to be on? Like, why does that even need to be on CNN?
Oh, was it on CNN?
Yeah, that's the reason. That's the only reason I found out about it. I was just browsing CNN, and bam, that it was the very lead headline on their site. So I'm just thinking, like, you guys played a definite role in spreading this, and it's making it even worse for the people involved.
Well, so did we. So everybody who talked about it then.
Right, but that's our job. Like we do Apple. Like it's important Apple users know about this because it could affect their security. But CNN,
because it's a big deal, and CNN wants you.
And CNN has a tech section. They it's a huge deal. Like we were discussing before the show started. People are definitely interested in these pictures. So CNN wants to get eyeballs on their website and their cable channel. So, you can't really blame them for this.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just a continue down spiral of just media in general. Like these so-called news outlets are turning into basically tabloids. And this is just another instance of where it's happening. But I don't know. That's just my personal opinion. Whatever. Anyway.
Jeff thinks media downward spiraling.
Well, I mean, I've been thinking this for a while. Like CNN the headlines on there are sometimes ridiculous, and they don't belong on a news site, where I'm trying to find out what's happening in the world, and then all you see is celebrity headlines.
I get what you're saying. It'll pop up right below maybe a major world crisis over in the Middle East or something. So you see a headline for war in the Middle East. Check out what J-Lo wore to last night's event. I get what you're saying.
Seems inappropriate, but
yeah, I feel you on that. Well, I guess we won't know anything until Apple comments, or maybe, not even a whole lot of details are known about how this originated. It popped up in a 4chan forum or thread, which a lot of dark things I think on the internet start in 4chan. And I think the original person and the person leaking, from what I understand, may not even be the hacker. He's just somebody who got his hands on the treasure trove of photos and was trying to sell them for Bitcoins. And I wouldn't be surprised if whoever was behind this, that's funny when you say it out loud, but I wouldn't be surprised whoever's behind this is either gone off the grid, or is in a lot of trouble right now because as I was reading through this news, one of the articles referred back to, I think there was another hacker that hacked the emails of some celebrities of a year or two ago, and he's serving 10 years right now. 10 years in prison. So you got to think these people are going to be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on to something.
You want to bounce on to more exciting things?
Yeah. We have of course, the September 9th event. Apple sent out invites finally. I guess I shouldn't say finally because they actually sent them out earlier than they normally do, right?
They did. It feels like they're usually like a week, maybe a week and a half out, and this one was more than 2 weeks, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or right at 2 weeks, yeah.
So, the typical thing that everyone tries to do to decipher what the invite means, I don't think you can discern anything from this invite at all. All it says is, wish we could say more.
Nah, come on. You can clearly tell. You can clearly tell. Like, seriously, the two nines, the opening nines, like 9/9/2014, they are clearly upside down sixes.
Which?
iPhone 6.
Oh, yeah. And there's two of them. There's two iPhone 6s.
And there's two
perfect.
Exactly, two iPhone 6.
Mm-hmm. And wish we could say more means there's going to be a Siri upgrade.
Oh, this would be awesome.
So, yeah, September 9th is the day that the iPhone 6 and maybe even the iWatch or whatever the wearable device will be called. What do you guys think as far as what do you think this device will be called? This new wearable? Do you think it will be iWatch?
Well, they filed a lot of trademark, which doesn't mean anything in and of itself, but just worth noting that they filed for iWatch in several countries for jewelry and other wearables, I think, or something like that. It's been a few months now.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's going to be iWatch.
What else do you call it without? I mean, if you're trying to stay in the fun,
iBand
something.
If it's
iBand?
if it's more like a band, like a Fitbit kind of thing, maybe with a screen, you could call it a band, or eyewear for wearable, but not so much. I don't know.
Or iLoop. I heard that going around.
iWrist, iRate.
I did it.
And then for next year, like the new one, they call it "I did it again."
Eyebrow.
Oh wow. So yeah, tough to not. I mean, it's tough to. What are they going to call the iPhone? Is it going to be the 6s you guys are pulling from the invite, or are the iPhone X?
I think
iPhone
it'll be
8C?
6. I don't know. I heard 6L for the large one.
Yeah, that was in one of the rumors we reported.
I like
on.
that, actually. I like that 6L.
Mm.
Sounds like a large T-shirt.
Yeah, exactly.
You got any of those 6Ls in stock?
Well, what's interesting here, because for a while we've had leaks of iPhone 6 4.7 inches. We haven't seen many leaks of the 5.5 inch. Which led a lot of people to believe that, especially with the rumor mill from the supply chain in Asia saying that the larger iPhone might not be available for a few months after the announcement next week. But John Paksovsky from Recode, I think, was the first one to really break the news that last week that Apple will unveil not only the wearable, but two new iPhones. So the 4.7 and the 5.5 inch screen iPhone.
Question.
And I think that was probably the most reliable. I don't know how to say that. That was probably the most exciting thing. That yes, we're gonna see a watch or a band or whatever, and we're gonna see two new iPhones.
Right, because to be honest, I'm waiting for this guy to be wrong. Even in this September 9th event that just got announced or just made official by Apple, he was I think the first one to call that exact date. Mm-hmm. So again, I'm waiting for this guy to be wrong. You're right when you say that that was probably the most credible source we've heard about the 5.5 inch from.
So
go ahead, Jeff.
Well, I was just thinking, like, all right, so, and we can talk about this later, but what happens with the 5C? Is that, I mean, because we haven't seen any kind of leaks or anything regarding it. Does that
Does that model discontinue? Do they
Yeah.
continue to sell this one at a lower price? That's a good question. And we've kind of touched on it before, I believe, on this show, but I don't know. I think the lack of any type of supply chain evidence suggests that they're not going to build a bigger one.
Are they
right?
just going
So
to keep this one around like they've done with the iPod Touch? Keep it around the
Maybe.
extra generation.
Yeah, and there's going to be people who think 4.7 inch is too big. Obviously, 5.5 inch would be way too big. So, do they keep the 5C and 5S around as kind of a low tier phones? It's tough to say.
I think if anything, they keep the 5C and ditch the 5S.
But then you don't have an all Touch ID lineup, and they're introducing Touch ID iPads this year. So,
yeah,
with iOS 8 and the new Touch ID APIs they're releasing, it'd be tough to keep the 5C around by itself.
Or maybe they just update the 5C with Touch ID, just keep everything else. Who knows?
Right? It's really, that one's tough to call. People have asked me that on Twitter before, and I don't even have a way to speculate really, because they could ditch the line altogether. They could. For me personally, though, it makes more sense for them to try to keep the 5S around, unless the margins are just too stupid for them to try to do that. Maybe they make a lot more money on the 5C.
So, all right. So we've pretty much confirmed that there will be 2 new iPhones. There will be the iWatch, but reports are indicating that the iWatch may not come out in time for the holiday season.
And like Sebastian mentioned, the 5.5 inch phone may not be ready right away either. So we've got a situation here where Apple previews the products and possibly doesn't announce a launch time, a specific launch date, and maybe doesn't even announce pricing. We'll talk about iWatch pricing here in a minute, but that's not something they typically do. I mean, I know they did it for the Mac Pro.
Did it for the original iPhone.
Did it for the original iPhone. I think they even did it for the iPad, although they did announce price, and I think they said it's coming. I think they gave a specific date. But yeah, this is just not really like them. And I think we talked about this, Jeff, a little bit over the past couple of days. What a weird time to make this kind of announcement and not launch right before the holidays. This is your big selling season. They always break records during the fourth quarter. And to just announce and not have anything ready in time, it just doesn't really seem like them.
What are the benefits of announcing, though, when you consider? I guess one of the benefits is the fact that, I kind of mentioned this on Twitter, I believe, is that Apple will temper, any desire to go after one of these Android Wear devices there that are coming out, and they're flooding the market right now. So if they announce something awesome, then people are going to be like, I don't think I want to go with that Android Wear. I want to hold off for the iWatch.
I'll interrupt you here because you say all these Android Wear devices are flooding the market. I think that's not completely accurate. I think a lot of manufacturers like LG and Motorola are releasing, and even Samsung are releasing a bunch of wearable devices. That doesn't mean people buy them. I mean,
right.
I mean, I've seen a handful of people wearing the Samsung Galaxy Gear. I've seen a woman the other day wearing the new one. What's it called? The Gear Fit or something? At the Apple Store, actually, she was. I found it a little unusual. But I haven't seen many of these devices out. And to me, one reason why they would want to announce the iWatch like a few months before even putting it on sale is to create buzz, to educate people about what a wearable is, because people don't really know what wearable are. People know the Fitbit, people have, like maybe the Nike Fuel Band and stuff like this, but we can only assume that an Apple iWatch or iBand or wearable will be much more than all these little bands combined. And you have to educate people. You have to get them excited. You have to build demand. You can't just, when you have a revolutionary, and again, this is assuming it's going to be a revolutionary, when you have a revolutionary product that has no matched product in the same category that is way ahead of its time, just like the iPhone was, you can't just say, hey, this is it and it's on sale right now, because people are going to be confused. They're not going to know what it is. They're not going to know what they can do with it and everything. So I think Apple needs time to build buzz and educate people and have the journalists hype it up, have, people at the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal and all that stuff, like really hype it up and explain people why they would need one of these things and why it would be so amazing. And I think if they're gonna do this, like announce 6 months in advance or 3 months or 4 months in advance, I think that would be the reason why. Not so much for production issues.
Well, everything you just described, they usually get done in that week and a half between announcement and product launch. They give review units out to journalists. The reviews come out about 4 or 5 days before.
This is different though, Cody. Like we're not talking about an incremental update on an iPhone or an iPad. Yes, every iPhone is so much better than the previous iPhone, and the iPhone 5S has Touch ID. This is amazing. And then you had the iPhone 4 that had Retina display, all this thing. But it was just an iPhone. You already knew what it was. And whatever new feature, Siri, Retina display, a Touch ID, these are great features, but they're not like life-changing features. They're not like industry-changing features.
Right. And I get that, but for me, if it's 3 to 6 months later, buzz only lasts so long. You can only make so many headlines about this thing once you've announced it, once maybe the reviews have come out, once maybe respected tech journalists have talked about it. That buzz dies out eventually, and I don't think for the majority of people that it stops them from trying out other smartwatches that make cool commercials and offer sweet deals at their local carrier store. I don't know. For me, that just seems so odd, especially over the holiday break where everybody's going to be buying smartwatches.
That's the weirdest thing, right? I mean, that's the only thing that bothers me here. That if they miss the holiday quarter, that just doesn't make sense to me. But the explanation I just gave was, to me, like what I believe is the best explanation as to why.
My theory is that this is such a different device to go along sort of on your lane. This is such a different device. Not only is it a consumer device, but it also reportedly has a lot to do with health, right? So with all the legal ramifications and all the red tape in the health industry, maybe Apple knows that people will need time, doctors will need time, hospitals will need time, insurance companies will need time to get accustomed to what this device can do, any kind of legal ramifications that are involved with it. And people in general, when it comes to something as personal as health, need time to adjust to the idea of, okay, I'm going to use this device to monitor my blood pressure. I'm going to use this device to monitor my glucose intake, etc. So this could be a way to give the people a chance to prepare themselves, get doctors trained on how to interface with this device, how to use it to diagnose different symptoms and things like that, how to read it. So I'm thinking perhaps this could give everyone a chance to catch up and to learn about this device before they just throw it at you and say, here, use this. This will give everyone a chance to become educated. If this is as big of a deal as it possibly can be, then I think that may be a good strategy for them to take, and it may be worth the hit.
Why wouldn't, to both of your points, why wouldn't they have just announced it at WWDC? I mean, even if it wasn't ready, you're not launching it anytime soon, so why not say, just like they did with the Mac Pro last year, here's something, we want to give you a sneak peek at something we've been working on. So, I don't know. I guess you also have to factor in the fact that we haven't seen any leaks from the supply chain. There's no parts. It's obviously either not in production, or the off chance that this thing is being kept under black cloaks somewhere on a remote island, maybe because the iPad launched without any previous leaks, so maybe there's something to do with production. I don't know.
Or this thing is being produced. I mean, I've been thinking this, and I think I mentioned it before on a previous episode. Or maybe this thing is produced in the US. and or maybe it's made in Switzerland or some. I don't know. Maybe
somewhere not in Asia.
maybe
where the
somewhere
supply
not
chains-
in Asia, somewhere where you
Right.
can actually control people a little more. Because in Asia you can't really. You have a factory with thousands, tens of thousands,
hundreds of thousands,
hundreds of
yeah.
thousands of workers. One leak, and you don't really know. You don't have control, and even if you really know, what are you gonna do? You're gonna send the guy to jail or something? I mean, it's just you just don't have the legal control. That's really the legal control as much as you have if it is here in the US.
Right, and that's
And
also
how
feasible.
cool would that be? Like iWatch made in the USA.
Well, it's also feasible for the fact that there's already a product that's made in the USA, the Mac Pro, and then number two is that this obviously is not going to be as popular as an iPhone or an iPad. I mean, you're not going to sell
at least initially.
initially, it's not going to require the manpower you would think of an iPhone or even an iPad. So I guess that is feasible. Another thing is that it probably just wasn't ready for WWDC to be unveiled. Like, what would they show if they didn't have a product at that time? Or maybe they have
So
the
in the
product
last
now.
within the last 2 months, they all of a sudden have something, but they're still not going to launch it.
Well,
That's
they
tough to
probably
find
have
out.
it to a point where it's you can show it off publicly.
Yeah.
I mean that's still quite a bit of time between.
And WWDC is a developer conference. too.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's not made to a pre-announced product.
Right.
Well, they've done it before.
They've done it before, but that was still they did it before a long time ago for iPhone and stuff, but they stopped doing it.
Did the
And
Mac Pro?
with the Mac Pro is not so much of a consumer. I mean, it is really
very
it
niche.
is prosumer, a product. It's not so much for my mom and
How many people do you know with a Mac Pro?
Zero.
Okay. Exactly. I don't even own a Mac Pro, so
Well, that just would have given them leeway. I mean, if like you guys are saying, it's true that they wanted to get the buzz out there and wanted to build up relationships with people in the health industry, that would have just given them so much time. But also, I don't know, to do all that, try to do all that over the holiday, the busiest. I mean, they're going to be turning out iPhones like there's no tomorrow. I guess. Okay, to that point, does it say anything that they're announcing the iWatch alongside two iPhones and it doesn't get its own event like previous new product categories?
well, it probably will get its own event, in the future when it actually is about to launch, I would think. And number two, if you're going to launch iOS 8 with HealthKit and all of its implications, then it probably kind of forces their hand to at least show.
HealthKit and HomeKit too,
Yeah.
where you could potentially be able to control your home appliances from your iWatch using Siri or something. You're using voice. Hence the tagline of the invitation, wish we could say more. Yeah, this is okay. Pushing it. What's interesting also is the $400 price tag for the iWatch that was kind of floating around over this past week, over the last few days, actually, right?
Yeah. Executives have reportedly been mulling a $400 price tag, although whoever reported, was this John P. again from Recode?
Yeah.
I say John P. because I can't pronounce his last name correctly, but it's that he said that they're discussing several price points, so we could see them lower than that with maybe less features, or we could definitely see a higher than that. But they're just for the average, the middle tier product, they're talking about $400. And I thought Sebastian's comment on this post was funny. Is it weird that I would pay $400 for something I don't even know exists yet? Because that's right. That's the iPad price point. That's really the iPhone price point, unless you're going through a carrier or, okay, it's a little lower than the iPhone price point, but you get what I'm saying. This is like the price people are willing to pay for nice Apple products.
Yeah, and you also have to remember that these so-called price leaks or speculations have been wrong in the past. I think the
iPad was rumored to be like $1,000.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, there are models that are $1,000, but the majority of people aren't buying those models, and they do start a lot lower.
So you remember when Apple was rumored to unveil the iPad, the same thing was said about the iPad. The rumor price tag was going to be $1,000.
Yeah,
which
that's
really
what you
was the.
said.
Oh, you just said that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was reading through some stuff on my computer here, and so I totally missed that. Okay, so you guys already know.
You guys already know.
Have you heard the rumored price of $400 for the iWatch?
Did you guys hear Apple's talking about announcing an iWatch?
Hey, do you guys want to do a podcast?
Oh man.
Okay, so you
So
already get that.
yeah, I don't think. I mean, $400. It's just. You're right. This is just really speculation, and right now there's no telling what it's going to really be priced at. But that puts it just above. How much did you pay for your gear, Jeff?
The one that was stolen. I think like was it 250, 200, something like that. I don't know.
So this puts it just above that price range. I think there's other wearables that are way cheaper, but I've seen some that are as expensive, around the $400 price. So this puts Apple kind of at the top end where it likes to be, right? Because it's a luxury type of product that they produce. So iPhone sits above most smartphones, or at least a lot of them. The iPad sits higher priced than a lot of tablets. So this just kind of fits with their track record, I think.
Yeah. Yep. Well, I was excited to hear this news. Apple was striking a deal with Amex, Visa, and MasterCard to have a new payment system. You can use your iPhone to pay at retailers. Both, well, no, it was just book and mortar, right? Or brick and mortar, not book and mortar.
Well, that's just what's being said because they just mean physical stores. So they're saying this isn't going to be limited to online purchases. Yeah, this was interesting to me because in addition to two new iPhones that both have larger screens, and in addition to this wearable, Apple's also planning to make a huge announcement, according to reports, that it has worked out a payment system. And it reportedly, just from over the weekend, it has four major credit card companies on board. It's got MasterCard, Visa, and American Express. The only one we haven't heard about, I think, is Discover.
Which no one cares about anyway.
My mother-in-law just lives by them.
Yeah,
the points,
my girlfriend's a big proponent.
Points.
Discover, really?
Big proponent. My
points.
girlfriend loves them and their customer service. And the points is she gets certain points in certain months. Yeah. So, anyways, this is a huge deal, and we're seeing NFC chips pop up in leaked iPhone parts. There was one, I think, in a leaked logic board. And so while we've heard rumors like this in the past, I think NFC has popped up in the ramp up to iPhone launches every year for the past 3 or 4 years. Apple typically ignores the technology, but it really looks like it's coming this year, and it really looks like it's to help facilitate transactions for a mobile payment system, which is huge.
That's something we've talked about on many occasions too. We've gone over it, and we're all super excited about this. For sure.
And we've just kind of discussed it dreamingly, I think, because at the points when we've talked about it months and months ago, there wasn't this kind of evidence stacked in its favor. But with Bloomberg and Wired and The Information and Recode, with all these publications having their own independent sources say basically the same thing, I think there's way too much smoke here for there not to be a really big fire.
Yeah, I am so excited about this. I mean, that is like a dream of mine. It's been a dream of mine for a very long time. Being able to pay reliably at numerous retailers with your phone is just such a wonderful thing. I guess it's not that big of a deal. Like from a convenience standpoint, like how hard is it to carry a credit card with you? But I don't know. There's just something about it that makes it feel right. Like that's the way the future should be. Paying with your phone. It just seems right.
In the future, you'll pay with your iWatch.
Yeah, well, that too. But you would need the phone to pay with your iWatch.
Right.
Well, who was it? It was John Gruber, I believe, of Daring Fireball, who has been kind of coy with information. Was it last month? He was like, oh, Apple's announcing their new wearable thingy next month. And a lot of tech sites, I think we even covered it because we thought he was being serious. He came out and said it was just a joke. But obviously now it turns out that he obviously knew something.
I don't think it was just a joke anyway. I think every word that John Gruber types on his computer and publishes on his website, every word has been carefully weighted. and he knows he
in his
knew what he was
deliberate-
saying, and he's not the
Yeah.
kind of guy who's gonna start like some fake joke rumor kind of thing.
Although to be fair, what was he really wrong about? Was it iOS? Was it iOS 7.1, the release date?
Yeah.
He thought it was going to launch alongside the iTunes Festival app,
Yeah.
and it didn't happen. So he has been wrong, but he's also, I mean, the track record just speaks for itself. He obviously has some close contacts deep inside Apple. And anyway, so last month he said that the wearable was coming this month. I think he was one of the first to say that, and it turned out to be true. And then I think last week he said, I'm working on another joke. It's about a secure enclave, basically kind of reaffirming the rumor that Apple has a payment system in the works. But he said for a follow-up joke, I think it would be cool, or something to this effect, I think it would be cool if the wearable had similar capabilities. So to me, that's a strong hint that he's hearing that Apple may be working on getting its payment system compatible with whatever wearable it's going to announce.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting. That would be really interesting because... Oh, I'm sorry. I was just going to say, I know Sebastian could attest to this. He pays for Starbucks with his Pebble Watch. And I think there's nothing probably more convenient other than not having to show or pull out anything at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just how big is this event going to be? I mean, if this is going to be the biggest Apple event, I don't even know. Like, I can't remember. Like, in my lifetime, it's the biggest Apple event. There's, the 2 new iPhones, and the iPhone 6 is this huge upgrade over previous iPhones. And then there's iOS 8, which is a huge upgrade over the previous version of iOS. And then there's this payment system. And then there's this Apple iWatch.
And the health related.
Yeah, the health stuff. And then the smart home.
Yep.
Yeah,
HomeKit.
HomeKit. This is absolutely just massive of an event. And that explains partly why Apple has switched venues as well. Like they're going to the Flint Center instead of the I think it was I can't remember, even pronounce the last venue. Yeah, whatever. So this is obviously has a lot more space, a lot more seating, and thinking about all these executives from Amex and Visa and MasterCard and all the payment processors and perhaps retailers and some of their staff. I mean, obviously they're gonna need a lot of room, and doctors and automation people and home automation people, and it's just a huge event, and it really explains why they are switching venues, because it's just massive.
So just some numbers here. The Flint Center, where the Apple event next week is going to happen, has the capacity to seat 2,400 people. And in comparison, the Yerba Buena Center, where they usually have these events, can only sit 750 people. That's about 3 times bigger.
Right.
And something we haven't mentioned here is Apple is building a new structure adjacent to the Flint Center. If you go to IDB, we'll have the link. We have some pictures posted where you see a big white cube being built right next to the venue, making you wonder, what is this for? Like, what is it? Is this the demo area? This is
Model smart home.
The model smart home where you
that's a good idea, Cody.
It is but it still makes you wonder until next week. We're not going to figure it out probably, but it's like, what's happening under this white cube?
There's probably like a garage door there and lights and rooms, and I mean, yeah, it makes sense. Like, what better way to showcase this than do it live in an actual model home? I was thinking that as well, and I kind of didn't really. It sounds silly that like you're building a home, but I think, Cody, you have a point. That's very, very possible that this could happen.
Well, plus, if you have 2,400 attendees, if you want to give them some alone time with the iPhones and possibly the iWatch, you're going to need space for these people to hang out and play around with the devices.
Hands-on area.
The hands-on area. So again, you need more space, and maybe you just build this extra space that you need.
Yeah, and you think about it. I mean, this is half the capacity. Like at WWDC, I believe it's 5,000 attendees can fit at their event. This is half that. That's a lot of people for just a normal, well, not normal, but a press event. So yeah, I think this is going to be the biggest event we've ever seen. And I can't wait to. I just can't wait to the 9th.
The biggest iPhone event since the iPhone event.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It just hit me when Sebastian said we'll find out next week. This is just a week away.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
This is next Tuesday.
There's nothing but leaks and rumors and reports over this iPhone for the last I don't know how long. I'm so glad it's finally going to come up to a boil and we'll finally know what's going on.
Yeah, brace yourself. There's going to be more leaks up till then. Yeah. So,
and I don't mind them, because I like playing the guessing game. And this fits. Did you guys see this? I think we did it towards the end of last week. This post with this fully assembled iPhone, basically.
Yeah.
A company like an iPhone modification company basically took all these leaked parts because we've seen full logic boards, we've seen batteries. I mean, it's not hard to think that they could pull this off. They put all these leaked parts together, made a phone, and plugged it into iTunes. Basically, it started up to the "Please plug into iTunes" logo. There's obviously a lot of skepticism that it wasn't real. Maybe the icon was superimposed, that it was fake somehow. But I don't think this company makes luxury iPhones they sell for thousands of dollars. I don't know if that's their MO to make fake iPhone videos. But either way, the phone looks cool. I think we've talked about the design, and maybe the antenna breaks are too big. Maybe the speaker holes on the bottom don't look as good as they would have. They were both symmetrical or not symmetrical, but there was more of them on each side of the Lightning. Now they've got them all condensed to one side. There's a few design choices I think people are controversial about, but I think overall it looks good.
Yeah. I think I'm more excited for iOS 8 than anything, really. It's just such a huge upgrade over previous versions of iOS, so I'm super excited. I'm also excited about this, purported 13-inch iPad, 12.9-inch iPad. You guys hear about that as well?
No.
You haven't?
Well, this is the one that Bloomberg talked about, right? That's not coming until next year?
Yeah. Okay. It's scheduled for early 2005, according to their reports.
2015, you mean?
Or 2015, yeah.
They're launching it into the future, into the past.
Yeah. But yeah, again, we've talked about this before. It's really not much to talk about, but it would definitely open up their or add new oomph to the iPad line. Like it would give a little push to it, because it's kind of like
Well, here's my thoughts on this. If I'm Apple, so somebody, I did the post on this Bloomberg report, and somebody put in the comments, it's just going to be a bigger iPad. So that's saying that it's just going to have typical iOS functionality on a larger screen. And my response to him was, I don't think Apple, one, could get away with that this time, or two, would even want to try. I don't think it behooves them to make a more expensive device that just is a larger version of what people can already buy. I think for them to pull off a 13-inch iPad, it's got to have added functionality. In comes the split screen multitasking feature we've seen hidden in iOS 8, and maybe some other pro features, maybe some type of way to better connect to a Mac computer and run that from the iPad screen. They've got to add functionality to this for it make it work, and I think that's what they have planned.
I agree. Just like the iPad was, a bigger iPod Touch. Like, obviously, they're not the same devices. There's added functionality with the iPad, and I too think that there will be added functionality with the Pro version of an iPad. They're not just going to throw iOS for the iPad onto a 13-inch iPad. It's going to have additional functionality, and I do think that there will have, if they don't bring the split screen feature to the smaller iPads, which I have a hard time believing they will do that. They'll definitely do so for 13-inch, close to a 13-inch iPad.
I'd like to see a keyboard accessory too.
Possibly. Yeah.
So it's cool to think that, like you said, Jeff, we've got all these cool products scheduled for the fall, and Apple's not going to stop there. They've got more awesome stuff like this iPad supposedly in the pipeline. I'm excited. There's also, I haven't heard a word about a new Apple TV since probably early summer, maybe May or June. And that was at one time expected to be just a few weeks away. If you remember back to like March and April, we were getting those reports. So that's got to be coming at some point. I'm thinking early next year. So the fun doesn't stop next week or even in October if they do an iPad event. It just rolls on for the next 6 months. What an exciting time to be Apple fans.
Yeah, and it goes back to what Tim Cook said. Was it at the beginning of the year? How they're really excited about their product pipeline. We're at that time finally. It seemed like so far away when he was stating that at that time during that earnings call, but it's finally here, and we get to see what he was talking about and see if they actually can meet the expectations, which I do believe they will.
I think he's said it on multiple earnings calls, but it was Eddie Q, I believe, at a Recode conference. He was up on stage with what's his name from Beats, Jimmy Iovine, and he said this is the best product pipeline I've seen in 25 years of Apple, and we're hopefully we're gonna get a glimpse of that next week. And I think they set the tone with their WWDC event in iOS 8. All the opening stuff up to third parties, the new keyboards, the Touch ID API access, the widgets, the extension. I mean, I think they set the tone there, and now they're gonna bring in the hardware to back up what the software started. So,
yeah, I think so too. I didn't want to bring this up, but I can't help but to think that. And I know this probably didn't happen. Like, there's probably a 99% chance it didn't happen. But this whole thing about the iPhone, the leaks of the pictures of the celebrities and everything, like, could that be an iPhone or an Apple competitor, like, making this happen somehow, or trying to take the wind out of their sails as they head into, their big announcement? Or do you think that's just completely no? It's just not.
If I was a betting person, I would bet no, but I wouldn't put it past. I honestly wouldn't put it past. Who do you have to point? Yeah, who do you have to point the finger at? It would. Okay, on the 100,000% off chance that this was real, it would have to be Samsung. It couldn't be HTC. It wouldn't be Motorola. I mean, these guys
could be Google. Or could be Google and Android.
No,
I don't know if that's Google's. I mean, I know they're not super known for their privacy, and they have just smart people over at Project X. But if I was going to point the finger at anybody, it would be.
Remember that Samsung ad where the guy was skiing and he was like showing off his Samsung phone to the girl. It was just really creepy.
The sleazy guy, yeah.
Yeah, that right there just made me think, okay, well, they're capable of this. I don't know. It just seems awfully interesting that the timing is where it is for that. I know it's definitely could be a coincidence.
And it's such a far stretch.
But is it though?
That you can see through the material because it's so thin. That's how far of a stretch it is. But I don't know, because imagine if somehow this ever got, okay, let's for instance say maybe it happened. Imagine if that ever got traced back to Samsung. I can't imagine the ramifications. Invasion of privacy. I think some of the girls that were in the photos were underage. Then you got that problem. I mean,
oh my goodness.
Yeah, I don't see them. They're too much in the game to do that, really.
Yeah. I guess you're right, but
no, it's an interesting theory. People with tinfoil hats on are going, "Oh my goodness, he's onto something." They don't have a new phone they're working on. They're paying hackers from.
What if it was put up by North Korea? So we put the blame on South Korea, Samsung. I don't know. Just thinking out loud. I'm trying to get to the bottom of this, guys. Help me out.
Sebastian's back in his room with his cardboard, his pinboard, and his string.
So we have a new section for the podcast this week. The rebound section, where we talk about anything that we meant to come back to from the previous episode. And there's just one rebound this week, and that is Cody.
I'm glad you started this section just based on people want to know if I tried Text Expander.
No, I think it's a good one because we do always say, like, we'll
follow up. Yeah. No, it's a great idea. I've actually wanted something like this for quite some time, just for the follow-up type stuff. But
did you try Text Expander?
No, I haven't tried it yet. Oh,
Will
And
you try Text Expander?
Yes, I will for sure, because as you guys have probably seen by now, I actually did a post on IDB last night. Text Expander, somebody hit me up on Twitter and told me that Text Expander was on sale. It's through Stack Social, which we've shared tons of their deals before. They're great. They have Text Expander right now for Mac on sale for 50% off. So instead of paying $35 or whatever it is, you get to pay $16.99. Now, for me, who is just so skeptical of what it's really going to do for me in my daily life, I'll get it for just the deal. And I know that sounds terrible, but you know me by now. 50% off, it's really hard to turn down. So I plan on buying it either later today or tomorrow when I have time to kind of sit down and mess with it. But yeah, this is kind of a no-brainer for me.
Okay.
The deal's good for 13 days, though. So if I don't get to it today, I've got a little bit of time. But I will.
Then you're going to
I'll
forget
definitely
about
grab
it.
Well, I'm sure I get reminded pretty much every day on Twitter, like, hey, have you tried Text Expander yet? You guys really put me in the spotlight for that last week.
Okay. Well, we're looking forward to hearing next week.
Well, and to be fair, my argument was always, I just can't see, if it was $1, I don't care about $1, I thought that way. But for $40, I can't see using it, and I'd feel like kind of like I wasted $40. So, and to be fair, there's people in the comments that said, yeah, I can't figure out why people are all about Text Expander either, because you can do shortcuts on iOS and Mac. You can do keyboard shortcuts that'll expand into sentences, and that's free, and I don't even use that. So that's why I guess I'm skeptical, and I'm just saying that other people agree with me. But I will try it because it's on sale.
Okay. All right. Well, we look forward to hearing what you have to say next week.
Okay.
Question of the week. Dun, 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 dun.
Get it, Jeff?
Was that a good?
No.
Not
as much enthusiasm.
Okay. Well, would you use the iPhone 6 as your mobile wallet?
I think
Sebastian.
The answer is yes.
Yes.
Everybody.
Yes. Okay. Moving on. Yeah. Well, we kind of touched on this.
Yeah, we did
earlier.
Well,
and yes,
my answer is yes if they can get this whole security iCloud thing figured out.
I don't even care about security. It's a credit card. If there's a problem, you call the credit card company and they cancel the card and pay you back the money that was stolen from your card.
Funny you say that, though, Sebastian, because your whole beef with 1Password is that, I don't want my credit cards in the cloud. Like, okay.
Well, that's different. Okay, hold on. No. That's pretty much, that's very different. I don't want to have all my credit card number and more information, social security and stuff like that, exposed somewhere, somehow. But if it's just like one credit card that gets hacked or something, I mean, yeah, it sucks, but again, it's just one phone call away. You call the credit card company and they give you the money back, they cancel the card, and they send you a brand new one in the mail the same day. So, not a big deal. I'll definitely take convenience over security anytime, any day for this.
Okay, but the 1Password is extremely convenient.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, here you go. Listen to this. Next, if 1Password for Mac is at some point $10, I'll buy it.
Okay, I'm definitely going to remember that.
I actually think I had it before. Did I might have.
You can download a trial, can't you? I think you can.
Yeah, come on, Sebastian. It's the best. It's one of the first apps I install on my new devices.
I have it on my iPhone. I have it on my iPhone. So just don't try to pour like some crap on me, Cody. Here. I know what you're trying to do, buddy.
Well, you got it on your iPhone. You might as well have it on your Mac too, and sync them up. You can do local syncs too, so you don't even have to worry about.
I know I can do local syncs over Wi-Fi. That's what I do between my iOS devices. Yeah, the day it hits $10 or something, or maybe next time it's like $15, maybe I'd consider buying it.
I think the cheapest I've seen is 50% off at $25, unless it's in one of these bundle deals where it's like $39 for like 10 apps, and then I guess you could technically say it was under.
Yeah, but then it's not an app from a Mac App Store. It's not the Mac App Store version, and I'd rather have the Mac App Store version. It makes everything so much more convenient.
And that's a good point. Like a lot of Text Expander is one of the examples. It's available in the Mac App Store, but the latest version is not. So if you want, Cody, you're actually getting the best of both worlds. You're getting a good deal on Text Expander, and then you're also getting, I think it's version 4.0 now. You can't get that latest version in the Mac App Store, which kind of is disappointing. although at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. It does everything I wanted to do anyway. But it was removed because of Apple's really strict sandboxing requirements, and a lot of apps have actually, that were once owned the Mac App Store have left because it's just not a feasible way to market and sell their apps and properly update them and have upgrade pricing and things like that. So I'm hoping with this whole iOS 8 initiative that Apple will see the light and start opening up the Mac App Store.
How do I know what version I have? Like I'm in Text Expander right now, and there's no.
You just open it up,
Okay,
and then
I'm
go
here.
to Preferences, and
I went there, and then there's nothing.
oh, maybe it's well, good point.
Yeah, I know, and there's no menu bar.
Right,
Yeah.
because you hid the menu bar. So what you may have to do is you may have to go to Appearance and then show the text expander in the menu bar. Like
Hold on,
select
what?
that.
What?
You may have to go to the Appearance tab
Okay. Oh.
and then show the text expander in the menu bar.
Okay.
Or not the menu bar.
Yeah, I see Text Expander.
And then go
Open.
to Text Expander Help, I believe.
I see.
Yeah, if you go to Help, it'll tell you the latest version. Mine is 3.4.2.
Or help didn't do anything at all. Oh, here it is. It's coming. What does it say? It doesn't say it.
Or you can just uncheck the Hide Text Expander in the dock and then just go to Text Expander About Text Expander, and it'll tell you what version you're using.
I'm in the help
Yes.
section. I don't even see a version.
Well, here, do this. Go back to the Preferences, go to Appearance, and then uncheck Hide Text Expander in the dock, and then that'll fix your issue.
Okay.
And then you'll be able to go to Text Expander About Text Expander, and then select. You'll see at the bottom Text Expander 3.4.2.
I'm on Text Expander. Okay, I'm on it. I don't get what you're telling me to do here. So it's in the dock. What do you want me to do?
Okay, now go to the top of the screen where it says Text Expander, right by the Apple menu. Make sure you
Yeah.
click. All right, and then go to About Text Expander.
There's no About Text Expander.
Do you see where it says Text Expander right by the Apple menu?
Oh, About Text Expander.
Yeah. And
Text
3.4.2.
3.4.2.
Yeah. So you have, and if you go to Text Expander's website, you'll see that it's like 4.0.
Mm-hmm.
That's because it was removed. Or it wasn't removed, but they just put all the future versions on their website because of issues with the Mac App Store.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of disappointing.
Honestly, I don't care because I wouldn't need much. I wouldn't need more from it. But
I don't even know what features it actually has that the other one doesn't. I couldn't imagine like what could make it even better.
I'm sure I use about 1%. It's like your brain. You only use 1% of your brain or something. It's about the same with Text Expander. I think there's much more to it than I use it for. Anyway, we're not going to do another episode about Text Expander. Cody's already asleep. Everybody else is too. I mean, let's just move on.
Alrighty. Well,
So going back on our little question here, I assume you guys will be using your iPhone 6 as your mobile wallet if there is indeed mobile payment capacity with the iPhone 6.
I just wonder, how are they? All right, how is this going to work? What do you see? Like, obviously, NFC is a big part of this, which is near field communication.
Right.
So how do, like, say you wanted to pay for something at your local gas station, could you? Like when the iPhone 6 comes out, could you just walk in and say, "Hey, I want to pay for this"? with
No,
my
I
iPhone?
think you'll see this at major retailers first, and that's going to be your stores you find in your big malls, maybe Walmart, places like Walmart that are national chains like that. Maybe they'll get on board. Best Buy, but you're definitely going to see this in bigger places early. I don't know if your mom and pop store down the road, unless Apple sells the kit really cheap and makes it really appealing for small business owners to get on board, kind of like Square has done. I see
Right.
Square I see Square at flea markets where people make quilts, and they're selling them through Square. And it's like, wow, that's crazy. So
there will need to be hardware that
see, when you brought up how is this going to work, I'm wondering what the hardware looks like, Because honestly, it'd be cool if iBeacon Tech was involved for these larger stores, of course. You walk in and it automatically knows that you're in a Best Buy, and you walk, for things to happen kind of automatically, I think would be cool. But
yeah, you walk in, your lock screen automatically shows, okay, you're in Best Buy. Swipe here to pay or whatever. Or you can just perform, I don't know.
yeah, the thing is, we know so little, and there's so many possibilities that it's hard to even speculate on this other than NFC will be involved, so you have to be close to the register or whatever is going to have that hardware to accept your payment.
And then you'll have to put your finger on the Touch ID sensor to verify.
Right.
I would think.
Here's my question. They have these credit card companies on board. So let's say I have like a Visa card, and I enter the card number into my phone.
You wouldn't even have to do that. You would just take a picture, or you would just put your camera in front of it, and it would read the numbers.
However it gets into my phone, it gets there. But if I go into a store and I want to pay with that Visa card, see, I always thought Apple's big advantage would be that so many of its iTunes accounts are already connected to bank accounts and credit cards. So it'd be cool to be able to just pay with my iTunes account, have that deducted the same way it is when I buy an app or a movie. I always thought that was its big advantage of having 800 million iTunes accounts and whatnot. So it's interesting to think about, Visa being on board and MasterCard being on board. Where did they come in this other than maybe storing your card numbers digitally on your phone?
Yeah, well, you would store them in iTunes. Like you would just add, you have your primary card, your secondary cards, all added in there. And then when you get to the checkout, you swipe on whatever card you want to pay with, just like you would with like Passbook or something. I mean, that's just a theory, obviously, but it's possible.
It's just that, to me, that almost makes it more convoluted versus, again, just being able to pay through, how I pay for stuff in an Apple store. I walk in, it pops up, my app pops up, it knows I'm in an Apple store, and I hit the Easy Pay. And I scan the barcode with the camera, I click OK, get a receipt in my email, and I'm walk out the door. You know what I mean? Adding credit cards and stuff, I'm anxious to see, I guess, how it's going to work.
Right, but that Easy Pay, you had to have added a credit card sometime in your history of having an Apple
right,
account.
But it's just, to me, as a consumer, front-facing is only the iTunes account. I get that I have a credit card back there somewhere, but front-facing to me is just an iTunes account that I get an emailed receipt that you know what I mean.
Right, but how would you, not everyone wants to use the same credit card every time they make a purchase.
Well, right, and I get that, but I don't know. To me, I guess I'm kind of lost what I was trying to explain here. The big deal has been, hey, Apple has 800 million credit cards already on file, and that would be a big advantage for them. But if you still have to add cards here, how are those initial ones an advantage, really?
Well, you don't have to. It's only if you want to.
Okay.
You could just use the one you have on file now, or if you want to add additional, then you can add additional if you want to.
I think the big deal is just the users in general are cool with giving Apple their credit cards. So
yeah.
Okay.
Well,
I'll
maybe
concede.
not after.
Right? Is it going to leak? I don't know. Some kind of leak joke, but
yeah.
Insert leak joke here.
So what did you guys download this week? I didn't download anything. But I know Cody downloaded a couple of apps.
Yes.
A game and an app.
A game and an app. You know these games and apps, Jeff?
I don't. I've never heard of them, but I'm assuming they're free.
They were actually, but that doesn't have anything to do with it. Okay, well, it does for Icebreaker. Icebreaker, A Viking Voyage, was Apple's free app of the week this week, and it's a game. It's kind of like a physics puzzler, and to be honest, it looks like if you were just to see this, you would write it off because it's got in-app purchases. It's got kind of, graphics for probably a younger generation, young adults or maybe children. But it's a really good game. It's a lot like Cut the Rope, but I feel like there's more character to it. So I've had a few days, I had it on my phone for a few days and played it a little bit. It's a good game, especially for free. I also downloaded this app called Acorns, and this is pretty cool. This is one of the few apps I've ever downloaded just straight up by seeing it in the App Store. I think it was under the featured apps or something. And Acorns it's a really cool idea. It's a really interesting idea. It's what they'll do is you put in your credit card number or a bank account information, and it'll keep track of like your purchases. So if I buy something, it knows it. And what it'll do is, let's say I go to the gas station, I spend $10.64. It'll take that remaining 36 cents, and it'll put that into an account that it's going to automatically invest in stocks for me.
That is a great idea. And also, that's something Bank of America has been doing for a while now, called Keep the Change. It doesn't actually invest, but it...
See, that's the cool part. That's the cool part to me, because it's all automatic. It's not like I have to keep tab on which stocks to invest in or anything like that. It picks... I don't know what specifically its metrics are for picking the stocks that it invests in, but it invests in multiple, so you have like a wide-ranging portfolio. It's not just one or two companies. And again, it just does this with your... Yeah, I've seen this before.
But you don't... I saw this. I don't understand how it works, because you don't buy stocks with 3 pennies.
No, it accumulates, and I don't know if it does it daily or weekly or what the deal is, or if it does it, maybe it does it automatically. Because, yeah, you can buy... a third of a third of a third, whatever the fraction is. You can buy fractions of stock. I don't know how low they go. I don't know what the limit is.
You can't buy a fraction of an Apple stock.
No, I don't think it's buying Apple stocks. It's buying like futures and index-based stocks that, I mean, I'm just so not familiar with it. I'm
not either, but I think you can buy fractions of indexes and how do they call it? IFTs, index fund something, ETF, index trading fund or something.
Something like I said, I don't know. I just know that it'll take my spare change, and whether it does it automatically or daily, or even if it did it weekly, will invest whatever I've accumulated in there, which is just pennies at a time, into stocks. And you can access that money anytime. It's instantly readily available. I think they'll start charging you $1 a month, and I think every so often, I don't know how often, I want to say annually, but I don't want to be wrong, is they'll take out a percentage, what's called a management fee, and it's less than 1%, which is actually pretty competitive for most services like this. So for it to be automatic, for the app to be so user-friendly and intuitive, for it's just kind of that set it and forget it mentality, and then to be really cheap to run too, I haven't set it up yet, but I have it on my phone, and I definitely intend to at some point over the
So they charge you $1 a month, and then they take a management fee of 1%. So that means unless you put dozens and dozens of dollars in there, or maybe hundreds, it's going to cost you more than you're going to make.
No, because they'll only take a percentage of what you make. So if you make $10, they're only going to take a percentage.
Usually,
it's not even 1%.
Usually the management fees are based on the amount you have invested. So let's say you invest $100,000, and the management fee is not on the gains; it's on this $100,000 that you've invested. So if it's 2%, they're going to take 2% every year of this $100,000. So you have to make at least 2% or 2.1% to actually make money.
Well, Again, I think it's only 0.5%. It's not even a full percent. Okay. But you're right in that I'm thinking that the amount is based on what you invest, which is, your goal is to increase that investment.
Right.
Anyways, so hopefully you're making money, and that small percentage won't hurt you. Again, this is typical. Management fees are very typical for brokers and things like that. So,
obviously they want to make you money, so they make money.
Right. And that, to be honest, I looked in the App Store, and the ratings are great, and people say it's not going to make you rich, but it's definitely a much higher return than like your typical savings account. And so I just thought it was a cool idea. And for somebody like myself who, I have a few stocks here and there, but I'm definitely not as involved, and my portfolio is not as diverse as I want it to be. It might be worth checking out.
And it's just a few cents, a few dollars a month. And it's stuff that you probably won't miss. Unless you're just like you keep tabs on every single cent that goes in and out. And to be fair, there are people that do that, and that's fine. But if you don't have any stocks, or you want to kind of get into the game, this seems like a pretty interesting thing to investigate, at least.
Right. I think I was more interested in what a cool idea versus, this is totally for me and I'm going to do it kind of deal.
Yeah, it's not like you're going to make $1 million or anything. It's just sort of like a game almost. I'll look at
little
it like that.
in-app purchases.
Yeah. I might have to check this out just to
Yeah,
to see what it's
interesting. Like I said, it's just something I ran across in the App Store, which doesn't happen often because we all know their discovery is terrible. But I clicked on it. I read a little bit about it, downloaded it, read a little bit more about it, I think on TechCrunch or something. And yeah, what a cool idea. I might have to.
So hold on,
set this up.
I'm confused here. So let's say you pay something and it's $14.90. So there's 10 cents left. That means the app is linked to your credit card and it's gonna grab 10 cents from your credit card.
That's what it sounds like to me.
It's just like if you, let's say I pay with $10 cash for something that's $9.60, I'm gonna get 40 cents back, and I'm gonna go throw that in the change jar. Just think of it digitally,
right? But how does Acorn access the jar and puts it in the jar? Like, so that means you have to give Acorn your credit card number.
Right, that's what I was saying initially.
Or,
that's
not
part of the
credit card
initial
number, but
setup.
credit card account.
Well, a credit card
number.
number or bank account, I think, are the options.
Okay.
So yeah, you do have to trust them with that info, but so yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I haven't tried it yet. I mean, I plan to. It may get deleted just for not being used for whatever, because it seems like it's going to take a little bit to set up. But again, it's just something I wanted to mention on the show. Super cool idea, and maybe there are people out there that want to get investing and are just, it's intimidating. I mean, if you don't know anything about it and maybe you don't want to go to an actual broker or something, this is a way to get started.
All right.
So how did you enjoy Hyperlapse, Sebastian?
I didn't have time to really enjoy it, unfortunately. It seems like a very cool app. That's, for those of you who don't know, it's Instagram's new application. It's a time-lapse video app, and it's extremely simple. It's beautifully simple. You have one button, you start recording your video, you stop recording, and then you have a slider. You can play the video at normal speed, which is 1x, and you can play it up to 12 times the speed. And then you can save it to your iPhone, or you can publish it to Facebook or Instagram directly from the app. And so it's very straightforward. I've seen some really cool ones actually over the weekend on Instagram too, but I didn't really get to play with it. I did a little bit at the concert on Saturday. I actually recorded like a video of me walking all the way to my seats. And it's funny. Like any kind of video you take with hyperlapse kind of turns funny. So you can see this one on my Twitter feed. It happened Saturday night or something. But I haven't had time to get creative with it and really think about trying to do like cool, very good quality video with it. Just haven't had time. But it seems like a promising app. And we know iOS 8 is going to have this time lapse feature. The good thing about hyperlapse, though, it's what happens under the hood. They have this whole software part handling out, tapping your gyroscope and figuring out your hands movements so it can automatically stabilize the video. So it's extremely smart. It's not perfect, as you can see in the video I uploaded to Twitter. It's definitely not perfect, but it's much better than what you would get if you were just gonna process the video at an increased speed and put it out there. So I don't know. Hopefully I have time to. It's again like time is is a very rare currency right now in my life with now 2 kids and stuff, and so. But hopefully I find time to go outside and take a cool picture. I have a couple ideas of things I want to do, but it would probably take me time to go out and make it happen and stuff. So we'll see.
Alrighty. Well, yeah, so that's that. That's our downloads of the week. Thanks for sharing, guys. You guys want to read some, well, I think Sebastian, you're going to read us some iTunes reviews? I think we have quite a few of them out there. You're going to pick a few of them.
Yeah, I would love that. There was quite a bunch this past week, actually. So thank you very much for writing down these reviews, taking the time to do it. We're not going to be able to read all of them because I think there's 10 or something. 8 or 10 of them. So that's quite a bit. We would spend like 10 minutes just on that. So I'll just pick these 3 randomly, kind of randomly. and we'll go from there.
I do like King Puff Daddy's name though.
I don't have.
I guess that guy's from the chat room.
This one is not.
The very first one.
This one is not part of the one I was going to read.
Okay.
But if you want to read it, you're free to do it. The first one is from Tercio City. The title of his review is Awesome Podcast. Thanks. I look for reviews and suggestions and ideas. This podcast does that. I have tried the other podcasts and always come back to this one. Thank you. Keep it up and keep loving iOS. Second one is titled Awesome Community by Henley Slendy. IDB is one of my favorite tech websites that I have been following since I was in 9th grade. The inclusion of a podcast makes a step forward and is very enjoyable, especially the stupid jokes section. It would be nice to have an intro for each section if possible, but the podcast is still awesome. Still waiting for the IDB app, Cody. And finally, we have a review by James M118, who says, Awesome podcast. Hey, this is an awesome podcast. I love you guys. You are all very funny. I like hearing about your interesting lives and the latest Apple news. I really like the joke section. Sometimes I repeat them to my friends. My favorite one was the little Johnny joke. I listen to all the podcasts and hope this lasts forever. Stay awesome. I also have a joke to share. What is green, has 4 legs, and would kill you if it fell off a tree? A pool table. It's funny because you don't expect it. All right. So there were several more reviews. Unfortunately, we can't really do all of them here. But thank you very much, guys, for taking the time to do this. If you haven't done it, please go ahead and do it.
Yeah, and to just be clear, we read them.
Yeah, we do read all of them.
Show.
Yes, absolutely.
So thank you, King Puff Daddy, and everyone else. All right. Well, speaking of jokes, do you guys have any jokes? I actually have one or two.
Go ahead.
Go for it.
You guys can go first.
What's that about?
All right, here's one. When's the best time to go to the dentist?
To the what? Dentist?
Yeah.
Teeth, teeth, tooth. I don't know.
2:30.
2:30. 2:30. This one is good. This one is good. I have one from actually the guitar player of The Offspring said over this weekend at the concert. What do you call? What is it? I'm so bad at jokes, man. If it's not in front of me for me to read, I'm terrible. I can never remember them. What do you call a waffle that fell in the sand? A San Diego. Ego, like the brand Ego.
Yeah, San Diego. That's funny.
Yeah. Here, somebody send us in a list of 30 one-liner jokes. And
you're gonna read all 30 of them.
Yes, as fast as possible. No, I'm just kidding. No, I wanted to read one or because people were nice enough. He was nice enough to put this whole list together. I definitely wanted to read a couple of I don't get all of them. And they definitely fit in the kind of dumb joke section. Here's one. What's the deal with shapes? Circles, they're pointless. Oh, I told you. Right? I told you. They're pretty... 9 out of 10. Did you know that 9 out of 10 people addicted to drinking brake fluid can't stop? No.
Oh, that's the
okay.
email, that's the email we received, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I got a good one on Twitter. The little kid he broke his arm. I'm just like Sebastian. I can't remember if they're not in front of me. But here we go. Somebody else tell one, and I'm gonna look it up because I favorite.
Okay, I've got one. A jumper cable walks into a bar. The bartender says, "Hey, I'll serve you, but don't start anything." This one was sent from my sister-in-law, who sent me a bunch of jokes here.
So a baby tomato and a daddy tomato are walking down the street, and the baby tomato starts lagging behind. The daddy tomato turns around, presses him real hard, and squishes him. He says, "Catch up."
Oh, that's so cute. Isn't that the joke from Pulp Fiction?
I don't know.
A man,
here
a man
go
walks
ahead.
into a bar with a slab of asphalt under his arm and says, "Hey, a beer, please, and one for the road."
I didn't.
It's all about the delivery, man. It's all about the delivery.
I didn't want
That
to.
was very.
I didn't want to follow that one up, but I found this joke I was talking about on Twitter. I said to the doctor, "I feel like I've broken my arm in 3 places." The doctor said, "Well, just don't go to those places."
I've got another one that I think is pretty funny here. 2 cannibals are eating a clown. One says to the other, "Does
Yeah,
this
I've heard
taste
this
funny
one.
to you?"
What a way to start! What a way to start a joke out. 2 cannibals are eating a clown.
So does that mean they're clowns too? Inception.
Oh,
Okay, well, I think that wraps up our stupid jokes section, unless there's any others.
No,
I've got plenty more, but I'll keep them for next week.
I want to go out on top.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, wow, that's been a good episode. I really enjoyed this episode. And again, if you guys listen to the show, please head over to iTunes and number 1, subscribe. Like if you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe. But then number 2, be sure to leave us a review. We really appreciate that, and we do read them all.
Yeah, and you can send us jokes by either by email, Twitter, and stuff.
Yeah.
And stuff.
And stuff.
So it's, what is it today? Labor Day, right?
Today's Labor Day.
Labor
yep.
Day. So that's the day we're actually working. My wife was not very happy that I was working today. But it is 11:40 a.m. right here, and I'm going to export this podcast, and I think I'm going to enjoy some time with my family.
Alrighty, guys. Well, I will catch you tomorrow. Maybe?
Tomorrow for
Tomorrow for
our other podcast.
Other podcasts.
Yep.
Okay.
See you tomorrow, guys, and thank you everybody for listening.
See ya.
Yep. Thanks a lot, guys.
Bye.